Hello and welcome back to beautiful Blankenberge, Belgium. In the WTC 2017, we're back to the semifinals. This is Josh, your host, along with my co-hosts,
Frank
and
Rickard.
And we're here to bring you semifinal round. Of course, the stream brought to you from page 5DE, Enter the Crucible, and Muse on Minis. So we have Germany Loreley, who we just saw, take down France, and we have England Lions. This is Pat Dumford's team, and I think you guys have heard us talk about Pat a few times over the course of the stream, even though he hasn't been on the stream as of yet. So short list, a very short list for best player in the world, if not just the consensus best player in the world. So we'll get to see him play as Grimkin today, which will be kind of exciting. So, just to let you guys know, the other stream over on
Warroom.pl.
Thank you, Frank. That is England Knights versus Norway Munin, and those are the other two undefeated teams.
And England Knights is the team of the international man of mystery, Dr. Norbert.
That is correct. That is correct.
Or like Klaas called him, the King of Swaziland.
So these are the four teams remaining. Very interesting. Double English. Two English teams have made it to the top four. I don't remember the English making it even with a single team this far in the past.
No.
Most certainly not in the Football
sure
World Cup.
Yeah. So, quite exciting for them and exciting for all four teams. So we get a chance to watch Germany Loreley and England Lions. And we can go ahead and go through the matchups table by table. So on table one, which I believe is what's on the screen right now, we have
Dr. Sascha Meisel against Matt Gallagher.
Yep. And that's going to be Witch Coven. That's, again, we saw Sasha's Witch Coven Ghost Fleet list last round. Very, very typical Ghost Fleet list, just with Witch Coven in place of the more typical Denegra. And that'll be into the Striker 1 list, played by Matt. That Striker 1 list is only a single Colossal, so this is not the double Colossal Striker list that we've seen before. This one contains 2 Storm Striders.
Yeah.
So this is a three huge base Striker 1 list.
I actually played that list last week because I found it quite interesting, and it's quite a bit of fun. I think it can deal with Crux because of the leaps of the Striders.
Yes.
But I think it would be better into a typical Dark Host list than it would be into a Ghost Fleet.
I agree. Well, yes, into Dark Host, I think it's better into Ghost Fleet, and I think it might just, and this is theory because obviously I haven't seen this matchup before. This is the first time seeing this particular list, as well as not often seeing non-Denegra Ghost Fleet. But I think the Witch Coven might actually have the tools, some tools that Denegra doesn't have to reduce the impact, just the feat in and of itself. So we'll have to see how that breaks down. But that is our table 1. Table 2, we have on the beach table. Predictions on the individual games? Sure. All right. So our New York Times prediction of this game, how about we each pick one and whatever the consensus vote, that's what the New York Times goes with. So who are we going to call it for on this table?
I kind of want to know who gets to start in this matchup, actually, because I think speed is going to be, like, whoever puts the pressure on the other one. Because they both have defensive feats,
yes.
So you obviously want to feat after the other person. So
from the measurement out on the deployment zones, I'm going to guess that Sasha is going first.
So I'm going to call it for Sasha.
Okay. I am also going to call it for Sasha.
Yeah, actually, me too. Because A, I'm biased, and B, I actually think this Striker list is worse into Ghost Fleet than it is into Dark Host.
Yes, I agree with that. Which is why I think based on the matchup alone, Striker, particularly with the Witch Coven's feat, I think Striker is just going to have a hard time doing the sheer amount of damage that you need to do to attrition down Ghost Fleet is absurd to begin with. and then you add the Witch Coven feat and trying to shoot them down. And I think it's going to be a very uphill battle for Striker. So table 2, we'll switch over to table 2. We have Pat Dunford on the English side. And he is playing Dreamer. Now, for those of you who don't know, Pat, pretty typically a Signar player, but he's switched over to Grimkin. And I know he's played Grimkin quite a bit before coming into this event.
Yeah. So he's playing Dreamer into Benjamin Beckman's Virus 2, and Benjamin is the starting player. Benjamin plays his Virus 2 list without the Colossal. He has just, I think, 8 Griffins and Imperatus.
So this Dreamer list is slightly different from the 2 we've seen previously. Instead of the 4 Cage Rager, 2 Skin and Moans, it is still Battle Group, but we have 2 Cage Rager, 2 Skin and Moans, and then 2 Kravitz, a Gorehound, and a Rattler. So Pat has gone for a slightly more varied, 3 Kravitz, it looks like, because you buy them in packs of 2, that's right. So 3 Kravitz. He's gone for a slightly more varied setup. He still has his 4 Gremlin Swarms. He has a minion of the Dreadrots, the Death Knell, Lady Cariana Rose.
Which is basically the... Well, no, it's just 2 Cage Raiders. It's not the same list we saw.
No, it's
on
not.
the
It's not the same. Yeah,
okay.
it's not the same list.
We also mentioned that he's picked the Labyrinth, Sacrifice, and All Fall Down Arcanas.
Oh yes, so All Fall Down. We've seen that with Dreamer and Sacrifice. We've also seen people take that out of Dreamer. Just to remind you, the All Fall Down is when a model disables, enemy model disables one of your models. You can play your All Fall Down Arcana, and then at the end of their activation, enemy models in control will fall down, as it says.
Okay.
Sacrifice is when a model of yours is disabled by an enemy model. You can essentially heal all the rest of them. The last one is Labyrinth, and that one I'm not familiar with, so we may have to look it up.
We will check it out.
Yeah.
Labyrinth.
We'll look that up and let you guys know what that Arcana is. Into the Virus list.
What's our prediction here?
I'm going to say Virus does not have a way to make the Jack steady, right? His
No.
battle, right? All Fall Down will be somewhat relevant here because I think typically it's going to take more than 1 or 2 Griffins to take out a heavy, so you're going to have to come in and deal some damage. It'll be somewhat relevant, although, again, I think it is the worst Arcana. All right, so we're looking at the Labyrinth right now, just to let you know. Warlock can play this card when an enemy model advances and ends its movement in the Warlock's control range. For 1 round, enemy models beginning their activations in the Warlock's control range suffer -2 speed that activation. So that'll also help him sort of keep his brick from being swarmed by synergy models. I think that's a pretty good Arcana to choose here in this matchup. I think the experience that he has with Grimkin, I think just the nature that he, the caliber of player that he is, not that Benjamin is a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm gonna New York Times call this one for Pat Dunford.
I'll give this to Pat as well.
Yeah, the thing is, I know Benjamin. I love the guy, but Pat Dunford isn't going to be called Petbot for nothing.
Right.
So even if I had way more insight into the matchup than I do, I probably would call that on Pat's reputation alone. Benjamin will definitely give him quite a run for his money, and he will make him work for the victory. But ultimately, I also think Pat Dunford's going to take this one.
All right, so we have it 1-1 currently as we go down between England and Germany. Let's go to table 3, where we have Ryan with Coven. Which Coven? And is that a Dark Host list?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
'cause
pretty
I
sure.
think
It is Dark
Sasha
Host
is probably the only player at the WTC who's playing Covenant Ghostly.
and Ghost Fleet. It may be. I'm not positive if that's right, but it's certainly non-traditional.
Yeah.
And this Coven list, bog standard, all the way down to the double max Bane Riders, which I think is the right build. We've seen a few that have mend one, tried to get some other stuff in. The Reaper in the battle group is not standard, but certainly I think the battle group points in this Dark Host Witch Coven list, that's like where each player kind of puts his own tiny little spin on it. Otherwise, the lists end up looking very much the same. So 2 max units of Bane Riders, 2 min units of Bane Warriors with UA, Wraith Engine, Reaper, Night Wrench, Death Ripper. Pretty classic Dark Host list. On the German side, we have Dominic with Resheth, and we saw this Resheth list last round. This is the Winds of Death Resheth with double Siege Animantrax.
Yep. And just as I called the last game on Reputation for Pat Dunford, I'd have to say I called this one on Dominic, but also based on the fact that I know that he has played this matchup quite a few times, because we have quite a few Crix players also on our WTC teams, and we had a training week before we came here, and he has been playing this Resheth list for quite a while, and he really knows its ins and outs, and I'm confident he can take down or can grind down the Ghost Fleet on the other side. Yep.
Okay. So the UK, the English player on this side,
Ryan
Evans, did win the UK Nationals. Certainly comes
Just a
with
few weeks ago.
Pedigree of his own in that regard.
And if I remember correctly, it was a 7-round event.
7-round event.
Yes.
So we can take this moment to touch on terrain as well for those just joining the stream. This table is a reasonable example. Let me pull up the sheet for that. Sorry, guys. Okay, so basically all the tables have their own theme at this event, designed by Tomas Minas. Everybody throughout the tournament's playing on the same 5-table set with the same set of terrain, but obviously arranged differently per table. On this particular table, for example, these are hills that I'm highlighting there.
Yeah, they are hills.
Yeah, and then we have forests, which are obviously forests, I think. There's a bit of rubble down here in the corner. There are still buildings, obstructions, and they are the more, dense looking as opposed to the platform type hills. And then the linear obstacle is floating around. There it is, floating around there somewhere. That's just a wall. So we can touch a little bit. There's some burning earth on one table. There's some acid bath on another table. There's a few fog banks. The main terrain features on these tables that look initially kind of like buildings are actually hills, and I can kind of point those out as we go through if people are curious about what those look like. But back to the prediction for this list, I think I will break our streak of agreeing here, and I am going to say that I think the Witch Coven player has a little bit of advantage, because this is, even though it's for Chef, this is still a Winds of Death shooting-based list. It can get in there and deal damage, obviously, but I think Witch Coven does a very good job of taking away some of the advantage or taking away kind of what the game plan of a shooting list. So we're already seeing him move up the table very aggressively, which I think is, obviously a player of his skill knows that that's going to be important in a matchup against the Witch Coven. So we'll have to see how it goes. And like you said, I'm sure he's played this matchup many times. But I will be a voice of dissent and say that I will pick this for England and Ryan with the Witch Coven.
So I have the deciding call.
You have the deciding vote.
Yeah, and I am going to put this in Dominic's favor.
Okay.
Because because we can already see him eating up like a huge amount of board space on the top of one. So the Coven probably has to fit defensively here, and he can just back up, like contest a little bit, and then he's free to shoot wherever.
Yeah.
So New York Times score for you scoring at home is 2-1 Germany.
That's right. So
fantastic. I like how this is going.
Okay, so now we need one more for Germany to win this.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. New York Times. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and go to table 4, and here we have Robin for Germany with Haley 3. He's playing the Haley 3 list. We saw him play last round.
Into Zerkova 1 on Richard Beach.
Yeah. So our first time seeing Zerkova, and we can take a quick look at the Zerkova list.
the only player with a Zerkova 1 or one of like 2 or 3 players with a Zerkova 1?
I know that some Kador players, at least in the States that I've talked to, are starting to kind of move towards Zerkova 1, not because they think that she's anywhere near the best caster in Kador. You know, they think the lists of Vlad Rockets and say Karchev or Harkovich, Jax Spam are the strongest lists, but Kador struggles mightily to play into Krix and a little bit as well into Signar. And something that I think we've touched on but haven't necessarily said directly on this cast is that coming into this event, it's very clear that this is a Krix Signar meta. That, almost all competitive teams in this event have carried a Krix and a Signar player, at least one each. And I think the general consensus is if you expected to win, you needed those teams on your list, and then everybody else is coming, trying to have a game plan to play into those. That is the meta as it exists now, and so I think it's interesting to see the Zerkova 1 list just because I've heard that name dropped among some Kador players as not the best list in a vacuum in Kador, but one of the better options for playing into that meta.
And he's playing it in Legion of Steel, so there's a lot of Iron Fangs. 2 Juggernauts, a Marauder, the Kovniks. So the Iron Fang Kovniks and the Kovnik Markov all have countercharge, and the Great Bears as well.
Yes.
Have countercharge, so if he positions it right, he can screw up Robin's turn quite easily, or has to make him think real hard about positioning himself.
This will be an interesting matchup, and I do mean interesting in terms of thought process, maybe not necessarily on the stream. We'll have to see. But I do think Haley 3 is already easily one of the most thought-intensive casters to play. She generally takes a lot of time to kind of figure out, and when you are playing into somebody who also can set up countercharge traps for you, it just increases the number of brain cycles that you have to go through. So I think Haley 3 in general kind of tends to play very long, slow turns, and I think this matchup may be even more to that case than usual.
Yeah. And we can highlight a few more of the terrain features Josh talked about on the last table. First of all, this, and this are not houses, they are hills.
Yes.
Here we have a forest, another forest, and here we have the burning earth.
Mm-hmm.
This is the yellow thing in the middle. And we have a ash cloud up here. So any model without flight moving into the burning earth here gets the fire continuous effect, which obviously will affect Robin's movement because he has trenchers and stone blades in there. And the stone blades, if they are under Arcane Shield and their mini feed, are a bit survivable against the fire effect, but the trenchers are not.
Yeah, you still don't want them on fire. I think you'll see it being center table there is going to be interesting because this is clearly an infantry on infantry matchup. So how that dictates, particularly it helps kind of protect the left side, the bottom side zone. So we'll have to see how that sort of dictates scenario a little bit.
But he already moved Thorn to the lower end of his army and into range of the zone there.
And I suspect we'll see, Richard, moving Juggernaut or Marauder down that side.
Or, there is the unit of Ulans. One minion of Ulans.
2 minions of Ulans he has in the list.
Yeah, but one of them is
already lined up over there. Yep.
And, and now we're going to go to Table 5, which is the last matchup, Bernhard, with, again, Una 2.
So we saw this list in the last round.
As
very
well.
Very strong list. I actually got to talk a little bit with Tim Benke in between rounds while we were at lunch. Tim Benke from Canada. And he was talking about Bernhard's exact list and that he finds it an exceptional list because it's currently good into Krix, Signar, and Grimkin, and those three tend to be the boogeymen of the meta. The reason because Crix and Signar, as we discussed, are the meta monsters.
Have always been the boogeyman.
And then it turns out that Grimkin is good into Signar and Crix, so it's been a sort of, for teams that are capable of getting the models and having somebody with enough reps to play, many of them have been going to that because, hey, we have something that we can put up against the boogeyman of the meta. Well, Bernhard has a list that can play against all of them, and that's quite powerful.
So we're guessing that Ryan, Pat, and Matt try to avoid Bernhard at all costs.
That would be my guess, and they managed to successfully do so.
So Bernhard's playing into Paul Watson, and he's playing his Thyra list.
Yeah, so this is interesting. We don't see a lot of Thyra.
And also interesting, the theme force, Guardians of the Temple.
Yes, which I think I would expect with Thyra and her set, that would probably be the theme force that she would go with. This is, of course, the Flame Guard theme.
Yeah.
And so he has Blood of Martyrs and Sanctifier as the battle group. Nasia and Pyrrhus is his free solos. Pretty unsurprising there. And then 2 units of Daughters, 2 max units of Flamebringers, and a max unit of Temple Guard with UA. So quite a bit of high-def infantry.
And quite a lot of infantry.
Yes. So the question is, how good is the Una2 list into an infantry swarm? I think Scarsfeld Griffins, they're not the they are the Scream, like the like Flackfield kind of, or they're not the Flackfield Griffins. I get the Griffin. They're not.
They are the Stealth Griffins.
Stealth Griffins, yeah. So without that kind of ability, I think he's leaning heavily. Not that the Griffins can't clean up some infantry. They obviously, particularly with flank, +2 to hit, the ability to have Primal. But Primal is a little bit wasted here.
Yeah, it's like you don't really want the Primal stuff.
You don't really want that.
And
I think this might be, I mean, we're talking about 3 units of Tharn Bloodweavers, which are reasonable. I think that they do the cloud, like they have 2 base attacks, right? Or it's either 1 or 2 attacks, and then they can do the make a guy cloud, like RFP and make a cloud. But I don't think that's going to be super relevant.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, we'll check out Bloodweavers very quick.
so just
1 base attack. Yeah, but they do have the Bloodburst, where they remove Box of Living in the model and put out a 5-inch AoE, and enemy models in the AoE are hit and suffer blast damage roll power equal to the box model's strength. Okay, and to Daughters, pretty mediocre with Flamebringers and Temple Flame Guard. So I don't think that's going to be a very important aspect. So you've got Tharn Blood Trackers, reasonable, they hit hard, but again, there's not a lot of heavy targets here. The cavalry are high value, I suppose, but it just feels to me like, in fact, I think I'm going to call this an advantage for Paul, and I'm going to say I think Paul is going to win this matchup versus Bernhard.
I think this is a tough one.
yeah. And we didn't actually call the matchup.
We
with
didn't.
Raven.
We can go back and do that here in a minute.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I agree, Rickard. I don't know either list and list composition well enough and what it do to really make a prediction. So I only would have to go by what I know about the player, and Bernhard's been at the top of the game in Germany for quite a while.
Sure.
And he's been playing Circle all this time exclusively. He tends to be a bit pessimistic when you talk to him, but he's still pulling out his wins. So based off of that, I would say it goes to Bernhard.
And I think I will also go with Bernhard based on the list, because there is some shooting elements, particularly the Pure Blood Spray and the Blood Trackers, that I think will be able to do a lot of work during the entire game, and it seems to be just like a grind attrition fest going on here.
Sure.
So I'm calling for Bernhard.
Okay. So that's 3-1 for Germany by our New York Times
Count.
voting count call.
And if we go back to table 4 real quick, then we can give you that prediction as well. I have seen, coincidentally, I've seen Richard play that list into Pat Dunford's Haley 2 list at the ETC a few months back, and just got obliterated. But then again, that was Haley 2 before her nerf and with a completely different list composition. I think over the long haul, the cloud wall might be a problem for Richard to deal with. On the other hand, Robin has to really try and maneuver around the burning ash, the burning earth in the middle. It's really close. I think Haley 3 can grind this out.
I think these last two tables are very close, very interesting matchups. I think in the case of this one, we can kind of already see how Haley 3 moved up the table very shortly, bunkered up under the cloud wall. Zerkova and the Iron Company can be significantly more aggressive in this game, and I think that's going to help them a lot on scenario. Now, the question is, what about the Echoes? Because usually the Echoes in Haley 3 help her keep from losing on scenario, even though she tends to be a turtling caster that has a hard time getting into the zones and sort of projecting force. But because this is Zerkova 1, there is some opportunity for Zerkova to take care of the Echoes. The problem is always, even when you're capable of taking care of the Echoes, it requires a lot of effort, right? And maybe it's worth it, but if all you're doing is picking up 1 point and putting Zerkova in harm's way, often you're going to choose not to do it. So while I want to say that this matchup favors the Khador player because of his ability to be a little more aggressive with his pieces, drive towards scenario a little bit harder, and the ability to pick up the Echoes, I feel like this scenario is not quite as live as, say, the last one that we had. And on a different table.
Do you remember what Klaus said about Robin putting his knee on the table?
I remember what Klaus said about Robin putting his knee on the table, yes.
So I'm sorry, who was he playing again?
He's playing against Richard.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Richard, but you already lost.
I will say these tables are quite wide if you walk over next to them, so that's why we keep seeing players get up on it to
I'm
be able
just
to.
kidding.
I know you are.
I know.
I think in a different scenario, I would favor the English player here, but in this scenario, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. In this scenario, I think the scenario is not quite as live, and I think in the end, Haley 3 is she's an excellent attrition monster if you get the time to play.
So there's a judge call on table 3. They're checking some line of sight. Maybe we can switch over to table 3.
Yeah, we can check out table 3. This is
Rasheth into Coven.
Right, Rasheth into Witch Coven Dark Coast.
So they measured the line of sight from the Siege Elementarax up to, I think, one of the Bane Riders. And okay. And so Dominic's apparently trying to determine if he has to move the Animantarax or if he can aim.
It looks like he's moving it, probably.
Yeah, and now he's moving it backwards.
Yeah.
Back, keep it out of threat range.
Yeah.
So I would guess that Coven did not fit.
I would guess that's correct. Yeah, if he's measuring line of sight, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, he might have been measuring line of sight for.
If
no,
he
didn't need to, like,
if he
measure
came forward, would he be within range of line of sight? Yeah.
He shoots, so no feet.
Yep.
And one Bane Rider's gone. Second Bane Rider's gone.
I mean, honestly, like we talked about last turn, we can pretty much tell if she's feeded by where the egregore is, right? And it's here.
Yeah.
So no feet yet.
Yeah. So he's
When there's
measuring
a
again
feed-
if he's out of range of 12 inches of the Bane Riders.
Right.
So that they can't reach the Animantarax.
Right. That reposition helping out with that. When we see a feat, I would guarantee the egregore will be at least that far up the line on the table.
And I do remember that correctly, right? That the Coven has no way of getting those Bane Riders back.
Coven cannot get back
Nope.
their Bane Riders. That's correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's 2 Bane Riders gone, and yeah.
So I'm wondering if the other unit of Bane Riders has occultation on it. Usually one of them gets occultation.
Yeah. But I mean,
would think so, yeah.
But Dominic also has double Extoller in the list, so
Right, so
yeah.
not super
Not
important
super
in
important.
that regard. True, very true.
So now he's moving his infantry up.
I'm
aggressively into the
assuming
zone.
one of these is the cloud that you get for... Both of them are cloud. Neither of them is Veil of Mist, so no Veil of Mist cast on the last turn. So yeah, it seems likely those are both the clouds from from the Theme Force, Dark Host, and this will probably be his Veil of Mist when he puts it down. Often you'll see a cloud, basically a cloud wall on the first turn, so Coven doesn't have to feat then, and then after that on turn 2. All right, we're going to switch over to table 1. We might have a little bit of action going on. So this is the Sasha's Coven Ghost Fleet list into the Striker 1, 3 battle engines. Sorry, not 3 battle engines, 3 huge bases. Storm Wall and 2 Storm
This
Striders.
is the top of 2, and Striker didn't feed in bottom of 1, so probably that's why Sasha's going into it.
Yep.
And it looks like the dice next to the battle engine are the damage points. So it's taken 19 boxes off of 28, so it didn't quite kill it.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a Stalker, but probably brought the Wraith Engine up
For
to
Dark Shroud?
to get Dark Shroud and stay incorporeal. Sit on that left zone and in the center zone, so the Wraith Engine is in 2 zones. Basically, does the annoying thing that a Wraith Engine does.
And so there's a second
little
Stalker
more
next
more
to
damage. I don't know if this is going to be. I'm wondering if the dice is damage left. Did he just count it down or up? I'm not sure.
No, he counted up, so
Okay,
now
okay.
it has 20 damage.
Okay.
And there's a second Stalker next to the Wraith Engine who attacked the Firefly.
Yes.
And do we have... No, we don't. The
We do,
list
yeah.
of Matt Gallagher.
Yeah, we do.
So
So here we are.
the Firefly is on Junior.
Yep. And the Charger is on Jake's.
Yeah, but he has another Firefly. I'm determining because the Firefly has an upkeep on it, which is maybe Arcane Shield, would be weird.
The other thing to be to note here, this line right here of units, a lot of that is some of that's going to be field mechanics. He's got max field mechanics in this list.
Yeah.
If they don't bring down, or if Sasha doesn't bring down that battle engine, it's going to get healed up, and then Striker's going to feat, and that's going to probably prevent Sasha from removing it until turn 4.
But the battle engine definitely has an upkeep on it, probably Arcane Shield.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, it's not that easy.
Yeah,
to
I would
getting it
imagine
done.
one of the battle engines has Arcane Shield, one of the battle engine, and then probably the Storm Wall has Arcane Shield. Although no,
It's a Hurricane, actually.
a Hurricane. Yes, my apologies. So Hurricane moving forward, it might not actually have Arcane Shield. You might be right. It might be on the Firefly. Weirdly,
Yeah, that would be weird. And it's not the Charger, because the Charger's up here, and he has probably Sidekick on it from Jake's.
potentially. Yeah, looks.
Yeah, potentially. That's a better word.
She's got 3 focus assigned to her, so I'm assuming she's upkeeping Sidekick.
And the model behind the battle engine to the yellow battle engine is the Junior, and then there's 3.
So this is Junior.
This is Junior, and
That's
that's
Jake's.
the mechanics unit.
Yeah.
That's the Squire.
Yes, so Squire's
And-
here. So this mechanics unit is going to pile into that guy.
Yeah.
This is heavy metal, I believe.
Yeah, it
the
is.
mechanics get repositioned in
Yes.
heavy metal, right? Yeah.
They do,
So-
and all the solos as well.
Yes. So Sasha did fail to bring down the battle engine. We'll have to see how much gets repaired, but a full unit of mechanics can certainly do quite a bit of repair.
Yep.
And then obviously, if if he doesn't feat with Striker 1 this turn, I will be very surprised.
Yes, I would also expect a feat this turn.
Yeah.
So, predictions, we did come up basically with a German win, right?
Yes, our New York Times poll. I don't think we ever really decided. I said I favored Haley 3 a bit in Table 4. I don't think the two of you ever came up.
I did favor Robin as well.
Yeah,
So
I would call this for Robin as well, because on the basis of the high defense that this puts up, and the fact that Sarkova has mostly infantry models to work with no way of
So-
getting boast, so it's gonna be tough to get over the
So it's
the high
4-1 to
Yes, in
For
Germany,
Germany. Only the Pat Bot.
with only
The-
Patbot carrying.
the 3-vote system declares that only Pat Dunford will win his game for England.
Yeah.
So, see if it
Okay.
turns out the way we think.
I think Benjamin can live with that.
I'm quite interested to see how much work this list can do this turn.
Yeah.
I think it's very good at not dying into Ghost Fleet, but I'm not sure it's awesome at killing a lot of Ghost Fleet models. As the Coven has feated, and we see there's Egregore,
Yeah.
and there's the feat token. So yeah, this is all Coven's feat turn right now.
Also, maybe, I don't know if our viewers can see this, but there's a lot of pumpkins in the center zone that's actually printed on the zone. That's not some pile of focus tokens.
or rubble or
And
something.
there's
like
a
that,
few pigs lying in the in the rectangular zones.
Yes.
yeah. Yes,
That's
there
actually-
are some
there's
dead
actually
pigs.
pigs.
Yes, there are some dead pigs there.
So with the Coven having feeded, that's probably preventing the Hurricane from getting
I'm trying to decide.
magical weapons and going into the battle engine.
Right,
because
so that's
he
I was
won't
trying to
have-
decide if there was a real way to deal with the Wraith Engine this turn for him. Strange Ways obviously can hand out magic weapons. I don't think he can handle it. Can he hand it out to battle engines as well? Do you
Yes.
mean- Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just model.
Yeah.
And but I don't think a single battle engine can deal with the Wraith engine.
Probably not. And I think Strange Ways is his only option unless there is an objective. There is an objective. So he probably selected the magic weapons objective, but it's way up in the top. So
Only
his
the Charger could
Right,
get it,
so
and the
really-
Charger is too far away from
Yeah.
the Wraith engine to shoot at it from under Coven's feet, unless he walks out of
Yeah.
18 inches of the aggregor.
Yeah.
So we see the Hurricane moving forward and him measuring his 5 inches for being under Coven's feet to see what he can see. He's just going
It's
to
not
try.
much.
Not a lot. He's just going to try to kill a few pirates. But
I mean, he still can try to lob the AoE in their general direction and try to get rid of them that way.
yes.
But
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough that he gets an advantage on attrition.
Yeah.
Right.
A great tool that Sasha has to work with is the critical blind also from the Stygian Abysses. Like if he gets to blind the Striders, they obviously can't do a lot.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty big deal if he manages to land a crit. I'm not sure if Sasha will invest the focus energy into crit fishing, but it is worth keeping in mind.
Yeah.
And to my eternal shame, I probably have to. Yeah, okay. So I'm playing Signer. I should know this. Strange Ways can only give magic weapons to Jags.
Okay, so it is only
You
to
can't
Jax.
give it to a battle engine.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember if I cheated on some people in the past few weeks with that one.
Well, this will be enough for you to remember it in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I did, and anybody of those people is listening right now, I'm sorry.
So
Didn't do it maliciously.
It looks like we removed between the Hurricane and maybe the Charger. I couldn't tell if he hasn't activated the Charger. There's still so the Hurricane managed to remove 4, maybe 5 pirates. Obviously, that's not really getting anywhere unless you can pile on here. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see. Looks like drawing line of sight from Jake's, trying to determine if she'll be in danger if she comes forward here.
No, I think he's measuring if he can shoot at the pirate in the rectangular zone, and he can, and he's out of the range of the egregore, so he does
So
see
he
the
actually
pirate.
has line of sight to be
Yeah,
able to see the
and
pirate.
Jakes has repositioned, so he just repositioned behind that forest and should be quite safe
Seems-
from any retaliation.
It depends on where. Can we see where Sasha's arc nodes are? So this arc node
yeah.
can he has to be aware of
Here's the other down at the
At the pumpkin
Here.
patch.
Oh yeah. So the other one's here.
oh,
But
sorry,
this one here, he has to be aware of just arc node running forward and Stygian Abyss being launched into Jake's. Like that's certainly
what's
not.
what's the range of Stygian Abyss?
I want to say it's 8. It might be 10.
Okay, if it's 10, then it might be possible because he moved the charger next to the Stormwall, so the battle so the arc node can't get
Between
through
them,
to Jake's,
Yeah.
and he has to stay out of range of the Stormwall Hurricane as well.
Right.
So it's probably not possible.
But I mean, he's got Veil of Mist and stuff to work with as well. So
Yes. Veil of Mist. He can always.
he's got the Curse of Shadows
right,
as well.
right.
So I mean, there are ways.
And Stygian Abyss is range 10.
Range
It's
10,
sti-
but
it's-
yeah,
it-
it's still not.
The thing is, it's still just a power 12.
And yeah, she has
and
armor
she's
13.
She's camping 2, and
Yeah.
she will be under Striker's feet. So
Yeah.
probably
'Cause-
safe. I definitely think that Matt is going to take that ability of those arc nodes into consideration while protecting his two juniors. But it's something to be aware of
Yeah.
when you're
And
playing into this matchup.
I also fully expect Striker to feed here. Because
Yes.
otherwise
Yeah, this is
he's-
Striker's feet turn.
Yeah.
So he is making some attacks here on the Wraith engine. At least he's pointing to it.
No, he's pointing to the Stalker
Okay.
next to it.
It might
Yeah.
have just been an Electro Leap. He did point to the Wraith engine for a minute. I think it might have just been an Electro Leap roll,
Which
perhaps.
can't go into that thing because it's incorporeal.
All right, yeah. Yeah. All right, checking on a couple of the other tables to see. Yeah, let's go to 2. Looks like there's a little interaction on 2 between Pat and Ben.
Yeah. Let's see how. Yeah. Okay, so Pat has oriented his battle engine and most of his heavies, or all of his heavies, towards the upper zone and towards the middle zone, sending a light down to score the lower zone. Although, no, 2 lights actually, a Gorehound and a Rattler.
Yes, there's a Gorehound and a Rattler in the list. I'm not
And
sure if they're both down below. We can see his Cage Ragers and Skin and Moans are up here.
yeah, And
Something
he-
we haven't touched on for those of you who are not familiar with Grimkin. We've seen the battle engine in every list. The battle engine is essentially the Creel Stone.
okay.
It pulls up corpses and it gives +2 armor to friendly models within 4 inches plus the number of corpses on it. So it essentially functions like the Creel Stone in terms of being an armor buff. That is part of the reason these bricks are very difficult to break.
remove.
They're a lot of ways they're like a troll brick.
Okay, so Ben did something and Pat just triggered Labyrinth, the Arcana. Can you remind me what that does?
It
real
was the
quick?
-2 speed, right?
Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
everything in the Dreamer's control is now going to be at -2 speed.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's still got Sacrifice and All Fall Down held back, but this will be the -2 speed. So should help protect some of his beasts from some charges for the rest of the turn. I'm a little surprised to have seen him split some of his force off here. I mean, obviously he has to make a push towards this zone. He does have 4 gremlin swarms. What are
2 of them are in the rectangular zone, and 2 of them are already removed, I believe.
yeah. Is this one of the gremlin swarms right here?
Where are you pointing?
Right here.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
2 more, I believe, in the
In the
round
circular
zone.
zone here and here.
And I think just up top, the pile of dead models is the 4th one.
Yeah, it looks like there might be
Yeah.
one up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does Ben actually remove those? Because I know there's not a lot of magic weapons in the virus list.
Right, that's what I'm wondering is what does Ben have to take care of those? Because if he can't, he's going to have a very tough time making any headway on scenario and not just sort of crashing into the brick, which of course is the game that Pat wants to play. So Benjamin in the Virus 2 list. Do the Arcanists, the House Shael Arcanists,
Let's see.
are those the lightning guys? The names are always on. Yep, the House Shael. Wrong ones.
No.
So the Arcanists can't give them magical weapons.
But they do have a range 8 POW 12 magic
Yeah.
attack.
The 4-strike.
Yeah, from 4 strike. So they are
Who are you? Hang on a second.
House Shael Arcanists. He has,
No, it's not. Does he,
he
have
has
house?
2 units
Yeah.
of House Shael Arcanists in his list.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
they
okay.
each, so that's 6 total, range 8, POW 12 magic attacks. And they are magic ability 5, which against defense 14 Grimkin is or Gremlins
Yeah.
is not
Not
that's
good,
not
but
exciting.
Yeah.
You can roll the
And
dice.
stealth. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Stealth.
stealth.
So I'm not really sure what, but I guess he went up there with Arcanist and did a few blasts.
He must, yeah. I mean, he must have gotten one. It looks like he got one up in the dead pile up there. But I think the Gremlin Swarm are
Okay.
going to be an issue.
And it
Yes.
looks like he already lost one of the griffins next to the clock there.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. It looks like he's down a Griffin. The Dreadrots. It looks like he managed to cut through the Dreadrots. They probably. Oh, the Griffin by the clock is apparently still alive. Just apparently positioned very, very far north.
I think he's gonna try to hide it from Pat just to surprise him later on.
That could be
Yeah.
true line of sight through the clock.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we called this one for Pat. With synergy, you can get the chain up there. You can deal damage as long as Pat can keep his battle engine alive, and it's Pat Dunford, so I have to assume he can. It's gonna be quite difficult.
He has just eight griffins and an imperator.
8 Griffins and Imperatus in the
yeah.
Virus 2 list, yeah. So
Some
at POW,
mechanics.
they're maxing out at POW 17. They're
Yeah.
going into armor over 20. Like I think this is just a very tough uphill climb for Ben.
We'll see. I mean, I guess he can try to get work out of Imperatus and then just have the Griffins jam just to protect Imperatus, basically.
Yes. Yeah, Imperatus is certainly his most
Yeah.
important piece.
Yes.
Can Imperatus do enough work to kill 4 Grimkin Heavies under +2 armor buff
Seems
without
harsh.
dying? Seems quite harsh. Seems quite harsh. Yeah, we can check in back on table 1 real quick and see the Striker and Coven. Okay, so Stalkers are dead. I killed a few pirates. That's fairly irrelevant on a feat turn. I don't see a feat token, but I cannot possibly imagine that Striker did not feat on this turn. So maybe we can get somebody to double check, but yeah. It does really look like there's an arcane shield on that Firefly, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, that's actually surprising. Or maybe it's, although I can't imagine why he would then be so. Yeah. It can't be Blur from Striker 1.
It could be.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem great, but it could be Blur.
Yeah. Well, Blur would put the Firefly up to def 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yes, we got confirmation. Feat token is right there. So yes, Striker has feated. We have Arcane Shield on the yellow battle engine, and Arcane. It is Arcane Shield.
It is
on
Arcane
the
Shield,
Firefly,
yeah.
Firefly.
which-
Yep.
Blur would have been an odd choice, I believe.
And the Arcane Shield on this Firefly might have just been to make it as hard as possible, because it looks like that Firefly is his early consideration towards this zone. It looks like he doesn't really intend on jamming any of his huge
Yeah.
bases down there at the moment. So that could very well be the thought process behind.
Yeah.
Okay, Arcane Shield on this, make it hard. I don't really need the damage output on my lightning shots versus this list. Nothing is high armor.
Yep.
So I'm going to send this in here. It'll contest. Hopefully Arcane Shield means it contests for a turn longer than it might otherwise.
Yeah.
And the Arcane Shield makes the Firefly under the Striker feat armor 26 with 26 boxes.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
armor 20...
4, right? 16.
16, 19, 24, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
24, but
Yep.
with 26 boxes, so
Yeah.
not easy to remove.
No, not at all.
I mean, it's also nice against Ghostly to be able to get shots deep, because you usually have like a revive anchor in the back. So,
Yeah.
I mean, with the Firefly shot, he can actually maybe like wipe
Yeah.
an entire unit and
Sure.
deal with it that way.
Sure.
So that could be also like a
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is certainly a matchup in which I imagine Sasha might rather have had Denegra.
I mean, I don't hate the crit fishing from Calvin. I mean, especially when you have auto boasts.
Yeah, no, that's true. They may not be really contributing much else throughout the course of the game other
Yeah.
than the feat
And I mean,
and some occultation here and there.
and
So
I mean, if you have the chance to like pretty much remove 1/3 of his entire army,
that's a
per
pretty
round,
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, that's interesting. Some unconventional sorts of play, but with very pointed and smart sorts of reasons, as we would expect on tables of players of these high caliber.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we can check out one of the tables we haven't. Let's look at table 4, the Zerkova and Haley 3. It
Oh, yes.
looks like it's sort of what we predicted, very slow-moving game, a lot of not happening. The
Yeah.
Ash,
Lots of clouds on the table, because
the
now...
clouds on the table, burning earth. They're also contributing to kind of the slow grind, but we do have. Is that the Marauder in the burning earth, or is it a Juggernaut? It's hard. I can't see an axe,
I think that's a Marauder.
so I think it's the Marauder.
Yeah, looks
But-
like the Marauder.
As predicted, we've got a Jack there, sitting where the infantry does not want to go to attack it, but still contesting that zone because it doesn't really care too much about that fire.
I think he
Yeah.
actually contests both zones.
He is
Yeah,
in
probably.
both zones. So that's actually a pretty nice place for him to be able to position that, but he's also not making headway on scenario there. So he's committing almost the entirety of his forces north, and I think his goal is to win in his own scenario, his own rectangular scenario zone up north. So we'll have
So-
to see if he can kind of collapse that flank or not.
So what heavies does Robin have?
And there's a feat token for Sokola.
Robin has an ironclad, I believe, and I think that's
Ironclad,
it.
Charger, and Thorn.
Yeah,
so
so-
Thorn on the Ironclad on Haley, and the Charger on Junior.
And we didn't talk about this in the last round. I missed the opportunity to do so. Thorn and Haley 3 is very weird. I'm actually surprised to see him playing it. Only Haley herself, like the actual Warcaster herself, can arc through.
Nope.
Yeah,
The Echoes too.
they cannot.
They can.
At least this is confirmation from judges in America, is they cannot.
Okay.
The rules are, I don't remember the exact clarification. It's very Byzantine, but there is some.
Isn't that because they have the Warcaster abilities, and they have to be in the control range of the Echo, but can arc through it?
Maybe it's that they can't use the bond where he can't be engaged and they can arc through it. But I remember Keith specifically abandoning Thorn because he couldn't throw like chain blasts and force hammers through Thorn with Baby Haley.
In
when
Mark
he was-
3?
In Mark 3 when he was playing Haley 3.
Okay.
So maybe we can check with the judge a little bit later to get clarification on that.
Yeah.
But I am relatively certain that that is the case.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
But we will see, yeah. But for heavies, only Ironclad.
In terms of heavy lifting, the Stormblades and the Trenchbusters are supposed to do the heavy lifting.
Right, yes, that's correct. But the Stormblades don't care to go into that
No.
burning earth.
Yeah.
Burning earth, not burning ash. Burning earth, if they can avoid it.
Yeah.
So
I would guess that maybe Robin's gonna try to force hammer out of the zone.
yeah,
repeatedly.
he certainly has some tools.
Yeah.
Yes. Baby Haley, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Also, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty slow, grindy game, as we said. Doesn't look like a lot has died. If anything, I'm curious whether or not anybody's even made an attack roll this game. Let's switch over to table 5 just to check in briefly. This is the Thyra and the Una 2 game.
And I don't know if you said this before, but you see a unit of Darter.
Down in the back, yeah.
In the back. They have ambush in the theme force.
Ah, okay. Okay, so
So
that's not a... We don't think that's a dead unit. We think that's a unit waiting to ambush.
Yeah.
Are we like at top of 2 right now? Is that where we're playing at the moment? Because I
no,
would
it's
certainly
actually turn 3.
Because I certainly would have expected them to ambush by turn 2 when they can. Okay. So in the chat, apparently, the thought is that Baby Haley and Grandma Haley can arc, but what I'm remembering is he doesn't reaction drive, doesn't get the bond at all between those two
Yeah.
jacks, which is a
But
big
they
part
can-
of what Thorn
Yeah.
is. But yeah.
But still, they can. You can use them for a. And relaxed. Robin Monkish just came back from the bathroom break, and they still. You can use Thorn for an assassination run. Just run him forward, arc a force hammer through it,
Sure.
and then
Sure.
shoot him with Grandma Haley and stuff like that. He's done that to me.
Yeah. All right, we're going to check in with Pat. It looks like kind of just measuring threat ranges here in the Thyra Una game. Trying to decide. Pat's definitely, it looks like Pat's lost a Cage Rager.
Yes.
So we can see Pat had a Cage Rager here in this zone.
It's up in the dead pile.
And we have these Griffins obviously came in to attack it. So committed a good 3 or so of those Griffins. The other Griffin that was standing here came down into the zone, it looks like.
And with synergy, I guess it wasn't too hard to kill the Cage Herder.
Acquired three guys, it appears. Maybe an additional, I don't know what the small-based model there is. It's probably an Arcanist. I think that's all he really has in his list that's not Jax. Double check. Yeah, it's all Arcanist mechanics, so I'm sure that's what that is. So probably a few Empowers.
And concentrated power as well.
Yeah, or that's what I meant. Concentrated power. And maybe an Empower or 2.
And here down at the bottom here, it looks like he lost the Gorehound. The Rattler's still there, but there's another Griffin here. And the third one, I believe.
The question is, what is this base?
That's a proxy base probably.
Yeah, but is it? Yeah.
I think the Gorehound's dead as well. Unless that proxy base is the
Gorehound. That's the question. Is it the Gorehound or is it like a
I
Griffin?
don't
that
see
he
the
couldn't
Gorehound
quite-
anywhere in the vicinity of the proxy base.
I don't either. Yeah.
So,
But I don't necessarily really see. I wonder if it's the Rattler. I wonder if that's the Rattler maybe, and it's in the zone. I'm not sure.
that is quite possible, yeah.
And that would make more sense, just because I can't imagine Pat not having models in the zone. But so Pat bringing Skin and Moans here to engage as many of the Griffins as he can that came in to destroy his Cage Rager, and that's a pretty terrible terrible roll.
Yeah. And so, as you can see, Ben is down to 28 minutes. Pat just went down to 37. It's round 3, I believe, or turn 3, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's right. It looks like Pat has a point. I'm not sure that that Ben has anything. Yeah, so we're getting it's 1-0 in favor of Pat here on Pat's turn. So yeah, if that's the case, then I have to imagine that that's his Rattler. If it's not the Gorehound, because no, that's the Gremlin Swarm. So he can just be contesting with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, pretty much forever. Yeah, the Gremlin Swarms are going to make this real hard.
I'm wondering if the dudes down by the bottom zone would be the Arcanists.
Yeah,
Probably
these
Arcanist
guys.
Vic-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shield,
the
Arcanist.
the unit Arcanist
Yeah.
of Arcanist. Yeah, he's
So
got
he-
2.
So he removed
So I think
one
he's
of
maybe has some in the central zone as well.
Yeah.
he removed one of the griffins and put some damage into a second griffin there. Let's see what else he can do. He's now measuring if the cage rager can get at the injured griffin as well.
I'm trying to figure out is this just another griffin here in the back? Is that just a 4th griffin or now a 3rd griffin or whatever in that zone?
Yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is. It's a weird angle, but
Yeah.
just right next to the blue to the yellow line you just drew
Yes.
is his halberd.
Okay. Okay. So what we have, that one cage rager that he took out kind of caused the commitment, it appears, of 4 griffins through here and then 1 here. And now Pat's able to bring his heavies into the griffin. So we'll have to see how that works out for Ben, but I think badly.
I think Ben as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that he's keeping Imperatus so far back. I would assume that he would put it up further just to
Maybe
just
he's
to threaten the heavies.
he hasn't feeded yet, or maybe he has. Maybe that's the feed token band. But no, he hasn't, because he has removed one of the
Right.
griffins already and doesn't.
Right. And hasn't made any other moves.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not his
So-
feat turn this turn. Yeah.
Which is interesting, actually.
All right. So the
Maybe
cage
we are
rager-
missing something and he already did feed, which I can't imagine. Because otherwise that would be a prime moment to move Imperatus forward
Yeah.
for next round
Yep.
through the feet.
Yeah. So the cage rager doing some pretty excellent work here.
That's actually how I lost the game once, which I surely should have won.
Mhm.
Because I didn't realize until it was way too late that he moved Imperatus towards my caster, and I couldn't do anything to stop him back then.
So we can see the cage raiders come in and taking out the other 2 griffins that he could reach. So 3 of the 4 griffins that came in to remove the cage rager that they did kill have now been killed. I think Pat really wanted to try to get into the 4th one, obviously, but just couldn't quite get the reach to it.
Yeah.
All right, so now we can kind of maybe end up. So no, that isn't in the zone. That proxy base is not what it is. He's just moving the rat. That is a rattler, right? The models are so new, it's hard to be sure, but that's not a gorehound, so it must be the rattler. So trying to take out another griffin here. Damage rolls going quite well, it looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm trying to remember what the Dreamer's spell list is. I think it is Manifest Destiny that he's
Yeah,
using.
he
That's
does.
why
Have,
he's-
he
that's-
does have Manifest
right.
Destiny.
Yeah, that's why he's rolling so many dice.
Yeah. And I'm starting to believe that the small base model next to the Griffin in the top zone and between the Griffin and the Cage Rager is not a red model, but a Crabbit.
Oh, yeah, I bet you're right. I bet that is a Crabbit.
Because the base looks a lot like the other bases of Pat's.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, so I believe what I thought was potentially an Arcanist, that is probably a Crabbit. So Pat's managed to take out 4 Griffins on this turn alone. We've got 1,
And
2,
outside of
3,
Virus's feet.
outside of
that's-
Virus's feet, 3, and I believe he lost a Griffin we decided earlier on, right?
No,
So-
that was the Griffin up top, which he didn't
Oh,
lose.
right. So 1, 2, 3, and
4.
4 here. So that's what he has remaining. Those are the remaining Griffins.
And
And then
Imperatus
there's Imperatus, and then
and
there's a
Virus,
bunch
of
of
course.
Arcanist models and Virus. So Pat is definitely in the driver's seat in attrition in this particular matchup. Do we want to? We haven't checked in on table 3 in quite a while. Should we check back with Coven and Reshef? This is table 4. Yeah. Okay. Table 3. All right. So which Coven and Reshef?
So he has removed one unit of Bane Riders up top completely.
Yes. Both Siege and Matrax still alive.
Yeah.
There is at least 4 Bane Riders here in the bottom. 2, 3, 4. So maybe one of them has been killed. Not a lot of Bane Warriors on this table.
Yeah.
It is apparently the Witch Coven's feet. I see a feet token. And the Egregore, I believe, is that model right there. So whenever the Egregore is that far forward, it's feet time.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like this Siege Engine up here, or Siege Animatrax, went ahead and killed the remaining 3 Bane Riders that we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just hearing that they were behind the forest. The Siege Animatrix is standing in right now. And like we saw earlier, he had no problem removing 2 of them, and
Right.
so he went into them as well and killed all 3, which is takes away quite a bit of power
Yes.
from
Yes, it does.
the opposing list.
Yes, it does. Some threat range and power. Yeah, this doesn't look particularly good for the Coven player at this point in time. He's lost quite a bit of... Okay, so that's not the Egregore, because it just came off the table.
No, the Egregore is right in front of the feet token between the...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's the Egregore right there.
Wedged in
be-
by the clouds.
Behind the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
All
so
right.
we're moving over to table 1 to see...
Striker and Coven Ghost Fleet. There is
And-
a proxy base there that could be... I think that's where he's about to move the Hurricane.
Yeah.
So... Yep. So
And,
that means the Wraith Engine, as we can see, is right up here, which means he has managed to kill the Wraith Engine. The question is, did he do it with Arlen and a couple turns of shooting off of Battle Engine?
I mean, the
or-
battle engines can go into it in melee as well, but
Right.
yeah, maybe he has made the battle engine corporeal when he went after the Storm Strider.
Yeah. So I'm going to point out that we can see that the Storm Strider has only 9 boxes of damage on it. So over the course, as I said, if Sasha didn't destroy it the turn on turn 2 when he went in, which he came up short of doing, those mechanics plus the feet plus Arcane Shield were going to mean that Sasha was going to have essentially no chance to destroy it until maybe turn 4.
Yeah.
And even then it was going to be a problem child.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the power of the Ghost Fleet recursion is going to be able to take this down or not.
Right.
Well,
That's
right now it
separate.
looks like Signar is totally dominating the field.
Signar is dominating the field, but part of that feeling is because we've just come out of Striker's feet turn when it was going to be quite difficult for him to do anything. We'll have to see. I think if this was Denegro one, I would feel more confident that he'd be able to come back from this, but without Denegro one, with Coven, without the ability to really to parasite, to crippling grasp,
Yeah.
relying on crit fishing, for example, is just not the same thing.
No.
Not as strong.
That is correct.
So
So he just turned the clock over to Sasha, and he's starting to roll for his recursion, rolling a 1 on the first unit, which can't make him happy.
hey, even on a 1, you get 2 models.
Yeah, still. You want to have more than that, especially if they're being taken away at this rate. Storm Striders and the AoEs from the Hurricane can take away quite a few models.
We can see it looks like Sasha has managed to net 1 point in this match.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure that that's exceedingly relevant. We have I think the Firefly came out of the zone after a turn, so maybe that's how he scored a point. I can't see any other way that he could have done so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all looks like this is all Ghost Fleet models here with the chicken to score in that zone.
But he still has a Charger contesting that zone.
He does. Is that the Charger?
Yeah, that's no, that's another Firefly.
That's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
what
the
his two
charger's
lights
up
are.
here-
The
the
charger,
charger's up
there is
here.
a charger
Yeah.
up top. Yeah.
And that's another Firefly, and the charger up top has
Yes,
sidekick on
there
it,
are two Fireflies. Yeah. So yeah, that's Firefly. This is a Firefly.
and that's the
That's
charger.
the charger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far the matchups seem not one-sided, except maybe
Maybe
the Scorn one.
maybe the score. I feel like Pat is in the driver's seat in that game, but we can switch back here in a minute and see how the
Yeah.
response
Yeah.
is.
But overall, it's not clearly one-sided for one team.
I agree. With
So
that, yeah.
they can go all of them can go either way.
Yes. Part of that, the table 4 and 5, which we felt were I think we kind of felt like they were toss-up matches.
Yeah.
Nothing's really happened on those tables. Just some positioning, maybe like a few incidental casualties, but not anything too decisive, I don't think. Let's take a quick tour around, just bounce around, see if we can get a count on some of these tables.
Okay,
for
so
scenario.
we're back with Zerkova and Haley 3, and let me have a look real quick into her feet. I mean, I could just ask Bartek. He's playing Cater, but he's
It's
walking around right now.
the all like boosted magic attack feat, right? Zerkova one.
Sarkova won against against Halo 3.
Well, Zerkova's feet.
Yeah.
Zerkova one's feet. It's the all.
Is it you
Oh
can
no!
you
That's
could do
Zerkova
nothing
2.
fun.
I'm thinking of Zerkova 2. It's the you can't.
you can do anything fun basically.
Right. Yes. Basically, you can't do anything fun.
Yeah.
Everything loses their initials, right?
Enemy
You
models
can't
cannot make ranged
show
attacks. Enemy models beginning their activations in Zerkova's control range cannot run, charge, make power attacks or special attacks,
Right.
give or receive order, or make special actions.
Right.
And she has a focus of 7, so it's 14 inches. That's her towing the round zone right
oh,
there.
Yeah. No, you're right. This is her right
That's a Kovnik behind her.
Yep.
And so she has quite a bit. She's projecting quite a bit.
She's projecting over the entirety of her force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's quite far forward, but she's very protected. This
Yeah.
is something that's
it's not just a Legion of Steel, it's a Wall of Steel.
It is, and this is something that we see with the Legion of Steel often, that caster standing behind it, and just you have to get through 3 layers of hard-to-kill
Yeah.
troops to even have a chance at taking a shot at the
Yep.
caster. So currently, Richard with Zerkova has one control point, and Robin has none. I think I'm curious what this model here is.
That's Anastasia
Okay.
on Robin's side.
Yes, so
We just
Robin
ambushed her
to contest that
to
zone.
contest
Yeah.
that zone, because that's probably the because Robin started, I believe. So that's the zone that Richard scored in
Yeah,
his turn.
it has to be the zone that he scored. And
Then Robin contested with the ambushing Anastasia.
yes, that makes perfect sense. That'll be a little bit annoying to remove.
Yeah.
He certainly has the capability to do so, but it's going to cause him
But
to
he
get some
doesn't-
models to have to go out of the way.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't
row.
want to have it draw away a jack from that.
Right.
For that. So for
Right.
all intents and purposes, this zone might be lost to him.
well, he needs. I think his game plan was to abandon this zone and score this one. So I think unless he really thinks changing his game plan at this
Yeah,
point
okay.
makes sense,
That makes sense.
he's going to have to take care of Anastasia.
Yeah, you're right. That makes actually sense. Not that you didn't make sense before, so. Sorry.
I'm trying to see. He's got no real. He's gonna have to run some people up there. I think this turn he's just not gonna be able to score
No.
in that zone.
I think so.
So he probably will not make. The question is, does he go for? I can't tell what infantry this is. Do you guys have a thought on what that is?
one?
That's probably that's Baby Haley.
Okay. So Baby Haley doesn't care about
No.
the fire, so she's in there to help contest. So that's
And
just going to
that's
be
that's a knockdown marker next to the
yes to the Marauder.
Jack.
The Jack is knocked down. So getting over here to knock Thorn. Is that Thorn there at the
Yeah.
bottom? Yeah, knock Thorn out is also going to be a pain. So I think we're looking at kind of
Yeah.
just a slugfest drawn
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No real
Yeah.
scoring here, probably
And
for at least the next
that's
turn.
Yeah.
That's Haley 3's preferred game.
Right. No, it is. Yeah. So let's go ahead and cycle over to 5. I think I think we can say through Zerkova's feet turn, we're not really going to have much action going on there. All right, so Thyra, Paul with Thyra is up 4-2 on scenario at this point.
And it's, if I'm seeing this correctly, it's round 4 at least. Yeah, it's round 4.
It looks like quite a few of the Griffins are probably dead.
No, there's one,
There's
two,
1, 2.
3.
Oh, I guess they're all hanging back. 3, 4.
4.
Yeah, and he has 6.
And he has lost the pure blood already. No, the pure
No,
blood's
the pure blood's right
Still
here.
alive.
Yeah, the pure blood's right there.
No, that's that right here is the Gorax, and that's the Griffin.
Oh yeah, that's a Griffin. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so he's got 5 beasts remaining. So he hasn't lost too much here. The Unit 2 list started with only 5 Griffins, the Pure Blood and the Gorax. So he's still fine as far as attrition's concerned. Maybe he's lost a few infantry, though it's hard to tell because his infantry is just the 1 unit and then the tiny 3-man units. We do still have plenty of Daughter Cav, a full unit here, those 5, and then at least 1, 2, 3 down here. He may have managed to remove 2 Daughter Cav, 1 to 2 Daughter Cav. I can't. Maybe that's a Daughter Cav.
I mean, there's a huge
so
dead pile down in the right corner.
There is. So he has killed a bunch of daughters.
Yeah.
Is what it looks like.
That still might be the ambush unit. Oh no,
But on turn 4, if he hasn't ambushed them yet, it's because he's forgot to ambush them.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to interject something completely different.
Yeah.
So I know we're on a War Machine stream, but I just got a confirmation that Germany won the Guild Ball finals.
Oh well, I think that was guaranteed
Tina.
because the Guild Ball finals was Germany versus Germany.
Yes, you're right.
Yes.
So yay! We won one WTC. We might win another in a few hours.
Certainly possible.
Back to your regular scheduled program.
So do we
Now,
know?
if only they could win a real game system.
Do we know what the round is? Is this round 4? Or was that on the other table?
That's round here. It's turn 4.
It's turn 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then up 4-2 to the Thyra player.
Okay, that
So-
doesn't look good for Bernard.
All of the Griffins, I mean, they have decent threat ranges, but they're all arranged along this front. The question is, what is
Here's another one.
this zone is potentially a problem for the German player, Bernard. He does have the Pure Blood here, but I don't think the Pure Blood really wants to go into Daughter Cav for Daughter Cav.
Nope.
He needs a Jack to score it, but it looks like at least 1, if not 2. I think both of those are Thyra's 2 Jacks.
Yeah.
So it does look like this is where Thyra is getting her points from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just ticking up slowly.
Yes.
We'll see if Bernard is able to clear up the upper zone and
Yeah.
start ticking away there.
Just the threat ranges on the Daughter Cav, I think, is making him a little worried. The problem with Daughter Cav, of course, is they don't hit hard into true armor, but Circle doesn't have true armor.
Correct.
So in this case, they're relatively weak strength.
Yeah.
Not really a drawback.
And I mean, Thyra has both hit buffs and damage buffs,
Right.
so
Yeah. And that's we are talking this week kind of about Circle and how Circle is positioned. The fact that Tim Benke thinks this Unit 2 list is very strong into the boogie men of the meta is encouraging for Circle, but the changes to cavalry and the increased amount at which we're seeing cavalry played is a real problem for Circle heavies because they've always survived on their defense and not their armor. And cavalry with the ability to boost to hit are just like, even in Mark II, they were a problem.
Yeah.
And now they're just a total nightmare, a
Yes.
disaster for Circle War Beasts.
we got some news in that Norway is up 1 game on the other tables.
On the
There
over
are
the
actually
English
2
Knights.
games already done.
Or there might be a bathroom break. Okay. We're going to check. There may be 2 games completed in the
other
other
semifinals.
semifinals match.
And, well, USA Red is already down 2 games to Finland Mannerheim. But there's not much else happening around the world.
All right, so Norway is up 2-0. They just need to win one more game to take England out of that match
Yep.
and move on to the finals.
Wow.
All right, let's do a quick check-in at table 1 again, see if Sasha has managed to make any headway. So the Hurricane is gone.
Oh,
that is
wow.
really relatively significant. We can see what it took
Yeah.
to kill the Hurricane, right? Because we have the dead,
Yes.
like the circle of where it was, the half circle around where it once was.
Yeah.
That is significant, actually.
It is significant
Yep.
to remove it.
Because, I mean, sure, the Striders can remove a lot of pirates on their own, but
They,
So-
they
so
come
they-
back.
having gotten rid of the biggest and hardest piece is quite significant.
Yeah.
They do come back, but talking with a couple of the high-level Ghost Fleet players here at the tournament, including Tim Banke, who I think is kind of the forerunner, at least in the States, of playing it and being like, "Hey, Ghost Fleet's good. Pay
Yeah.
attention."
Yes.
His comment was, a lot of Ghost Fleet players will end up losing because they have to push most of their, or they just push most of their pirates forward.
Yeah.
When you push most of the pirates forward, it becomes much easier for your opponent to come and take them all off the
Yeah.
table. And then it doesn't matter how strong your recursion is when there's none to recur.
Yeah.
But the better Ghost Fleet players will tend to leave many of them back and keep the train running and know, like, it's not about taking as much as you can all in one go. It's
Yeah.
about just slowly nibbling away and
Yeah.
winning the game that way. Well, what we see is, I think to a certain extent, killing the Hurricane has forced, many of the pirates left on the table currently forward.
Yeah.
There's not as many shots. There's not as many attacks. Losing the Hurricane is certainly a blow. But you can't come into a game with 3 huge bases and very little else and expect not to lose some, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that might be the key to helping the striker player break the recursion here, is just how far forward most of the pirates are.
Sure.
Right
But I think,
now.
I mean, we're already into turn 4 here, it seems, and Sasha's up on control points, and it seems like he's going to be ticking in the lower zone right now.
It does look that way, yes.
So it could be possible that he's just going to try to get this to turn 7 and just
Right.
take it.
And
It is important for Matt here to inflict quite a few casualties, because if they can kill the Hurricane, they certainly can kill the Storm Striker.
Yes.
Yes.
and what do you mean by breaking the recursion? Getting at the models he left behind?
Wiping an entire unit.
Nah, he won't, because Sasha is just keeping one of each unit way back.
Oh.
That is
He will-
while that is true. So you can see this, right? There is one member of each pirate unit way back. Everything has to be placed within 3 inches of it. It makes them less relevant on scenario for a turn. So
Yeah, sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you are correct. And I did miss that there were 3 of them there. I actually saw this one, but I didn't see the other 2 initially. They kind of blended into the
Yeah.
background.
Sasha's
So
one of
that's a
these
good-
players
That's a good pickup.
you will never ever get at these
Yeah.
guys in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to switch maybe to table 2?
Yeah,
and
we can
see
check in on
how
table 2, check in on Pat,
Pat-
see if
So Imperatus has come forward to play,
yes.
and
We see the feed
Virus as
token.
well, and Virus is feeded.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
lo-
Virus is in there as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Pat is intending on going to consider assassination. It looks like he is considering it, right? That's Virus that he's measuring range to.
So he has like 1 Cage Rager left.
It does look as though both the Skin and Bones and Cage Rager that were here and here.
No, here's the
abouts-
Skin and Bones. There's still the Skin and Bones.
Skin was
Right,
okay.
Skin and Bones. Yes. So it looks like this is his heavy remaining. He has the battle engine.
Yeah.
The battle engine, by the way, does have POW 10 finisher attack, so it can potentially chip some damage. If the Cage Rager does most of the work on, say, Virus or whatever, the battle engine can chip in. He still has his.
Hang on a second. Where did Imperatus just move? He's gone from the table.
This is Imperatus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, that proxy base is Imperatus. This is just to help Pat kind of plan out where he's moving so he can put down his proxy base, check range. So yeah, it looks to me like Pat is considering trying to kill Virus, who had to come forward. But we will see if that is the case. We'll stay with this one for a minute while we kind of figure out what's happening.
Yeah, we can see probably that the bottom Gremlin Swarm is gone. Probably blasted away by the Arcanists.
Yeah, just enough attacks eventually managed to get there. Yeah, so yeah, he did free that zone up, so there is no more Gremlin Swarm in that corner.
And that base right in front of the Rattler is probably one of the small base Phantasm of the Dreamer.
That's very possible, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Just hanging out there to be annoying and
to be a nuisance.
And contest the zone.
So
we
Pat
see
is also up 12 minutes on.
Yeah,
on
it doesn't really look like time's probably gonna be a factor. 14 minutes for Ben there, and 25 minutes for Pat. I think this next turn looks like it probably will decide the game.
Yeah.
So the Skinnamones takes a free strike from the.
And it's still the fourth
Griffin,
turn.
I think.
It's still the fourth turn.
And Pat appears to be up 2-0.
Yeah, something. And it looks like he's played
All fall down.
All fall down.
Yeah. So he has just sacrifice remaining. It looks like the German Ben here has managed to play around sacrifice quite well. I think sacrifice is really, it's good when you have the shield guard Kravitz and your opponent is attempting to shoot you. But
hang on, guys. He's doing an assassination run
so
on Virus.
He is attacking Virus. This is an assassination run.
And that's
There
good.
you go.
And Pat won.
So Pat wins with a Cage Rager on Virus.
So
Skinnamones. Sorry, Skinnamones on Virus.
England is up 1-0. And unfortunately, our prediction came true, and Pat won. Yeah, and Pat won, which we, like I said, unfortunately expected.
We called
At
it.
least I expected it. Unfortunately, you expected it neutrally. But there's still 4 games going. We're still not out of the race, and we'll see how that goes.
I'm curious why. It'd be interesting to know why Ben decided to commit Virus there that far forward. Imperatus, yes, he needed to get him in.
Yeah.
Took out 2 heavies. That's great. So we're going to flip over to table 1, but that's definitely something that I'd like to ask why. Perhaps we can figure out why Virus 2 was committed there. Maybe it was just an issue of Pat scoring points or something.
Yeah.
Not that Virus can contest, but it's interesting. Interesting decision.
Yep.
So table 1.
All right, so we can see many pirates are dead. He's managed to clear out pretty much all the infantry. So battle engines have arcane shield. It looks like this battle engine has no more damage on it. The mechanics have done their work and managed to take away all the momentum on that battle engine that Sasha gained. So we're moving into this zone, obviously in the center zone. I think there is maybe 3, 4, 5 total pirates left that are not the models in the back, right?
And he's going for that zone and that objective down here with the Firefly and the battle engine.
Yeah.
There's a chicken towing that zone, which he will have to remove. But it certainly doesn't look too good for Sasha, unfortunately.
It looks like
at the moment.
It looks like Striker's in a strong position.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point
it's turn 4 and Sasha's up 2-0.
There's a reasonable chance that the engines can basically just the pirates occur. They run to the zone. The engines clear the zone. Score points, right?
Yeah, that's a reasonable chance. Yeah.
So we'll have to see if that's how it plays out. But a very well played game on both sides. But particularly hats off to the Striker player for. It's definitely so. Crix is still on top, right? Like Crix is definitely a dominant boogeyman of the meta, just like it was in Mark II. But in Mark II, if you told me you could take a armored skewed 3 huge
With
base
base, yeah.
list into Crix and have yourself a good
Yeah.
good game,
Yep.
you'd be laughed
Yeah.
out of the.
Yep.
So very interesting to see this kind of list played into Crix. Like as somebody coming from Mark II into Mark III.
Yep.
It's kind of funny to see how the game has morphed and changed. I think we're getting a report on how why Virus got moved into the zone. Let me hear from our man on the scene. And
This is Trisha Takanawa. So Viros 2 had kind of a desperation play. He needed to get into the zone, chip in some damage on a Cage Rager so that not only Imperatus could get up to a 3 synergy chain, but also that Imperatus with that 3 synergy chain, that Viros could chip in enough damage so that Imperatus could kill 2 heavies that turn. And then when Viros did do that, they did all fall down, or Pat did all fall down, knocked him down, Cage Raid or Skin and
Wow.
Bones took him out.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So it makes sense. He wanted to build the synergy chain, and he didn't believe that Imperatus could take out the 2 heavies on his own. Obviously, if Imperatus leaves 2 heavies alive instead of 1,
Yeah.
like the game is over there too.
Yeah.
So understandable. Totally understandable. That's good. That's good information. All right, so Sasha is responding here. I think we can kind of take a look and wait and see here what he's manages to do on this turn. Sasha has some room to play just in the fact that it is turn 5, so we only have 2 turns remaining, and he's up 2-0 on scenario. We'll have to see how quickly the striker player can turn it around, but so he's attacking. I'm trying to find the English player's name.
Matt.
Matt.
Gallagher.
Yes, Matt. Thank you. He's attacking Matt's objective there. Looks like maybe he came up short of killing it.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah,
And
which is
he's-
unfortunate because I think those pirates are just all going to
and
get
he's
killed at this point.
He's going to.
Attack the charger?
Yeah, he's going after the charger.
Yeah. Yep.
And
So that unit just charged in to do what it could do.
yeah,
We can see recursion, right? We got 3 pirates back here in this unit.
The other one seems to be up somewhere.
Right. I'm sure one of the pirates that's attacking or maybe 2 of them was recurred here. It looks like there's 6 there, and I think there were 5 before. So probably 1 out of there. And then this unit itself, that's probably actually
That's
witch.
the-
That's a witch.
Yeah, I think there were 3 witches down there.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
remember this pirate here. I'm not sure that middle pirate unit where he recurred any models or if he recurred any models. Maybe it's maybe
there's a unit
these?
down here.
Yes, yeah. That's obvious. He brought back 3 models and he hasn't activated that unit yet.
So he's now trying to finish off that charger in the zone.
Let's see.
In order
Just trying to see if he can get reach to it.
So Matt still hasn't scored. It's turn 5, and Matt still hasn't scored any CP.
Right.
That's
But he's got the objective that almost certainly will come down on the next turn. I think he's potentially going to grab the bottom zone on the next turn. We'll have to see if he can grab the middle zone. It is important at turn 5. It's important that he starts getting points as quickly as possible.
Yes.
So Sasha
Yeah.
may be able to stall this game out till turn 7 and win, eke out a victory that he would otherwise lose if the game was allowed to go to
Yeah.
infinite turns.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
so he's running the arc node around.
I think discussing
Yeah.
because you can run through your own objectives now.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Is it crit fishing time?
Maybe. It'd be interesting to see that come up here. But
Yep.
So it looks like he.
the
No, he
problem is
didn't.
I'm not sure you really want to spin down because then the Egregore... Well, the Egregore has stealth.
Yeah.
That's probably fine.
Yeah.
There goes the Egregore running backwards. Probably, we may see them all hug it to get stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to just click through the tables real quick, and then we'll probably come back to this one. So table 3.
Oh boy,
Witch Coven Reshef.
that
this-
doesn't look too good for the Witch Coven.
Yeah, this game is definitely played out the way you guys predicted. That's for sure.
Well, on the other hand, Ryan is up 3-0 in control points
he is.
on turn 4.
And I sort of expected that because the Witch Coven's feat allows him to kind of be more aggressive or play up on points early on. But yeah,
So-
at this point, he's pretty much collapsed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
for the US people watching us, USA Red lost to Finland Mannerheim.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna check in on table 4.
Which is, there's still way too much Kador on the table. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Still doing basically. Like we said, we didn't think a lot was gonna happen between.
Yeah,
between
it's
the
probably
feet.
2-0 for Richard right now, if I
It-
see that correctly.
It does look like it's 2-0 for Richard.
And still turn 4.
I think this is starting to look pretty rough for the Haley player. I think she has a hard time with the conglomeration of Ulans and the Marauder down here in the Burning Earth, and they're pretty much denying the ability right now to score any points over here. Meanwhile, if whatever she sends up here into this is
Yes.
is in Murder Town.
It's gonna get pasted.
Yeah. So this is a tough kind of pickle to unlock for Robin. Thank you. Yeah. So it is. We got confirmation. It is 2-0 as the scorecard looks to be.
He shocked me there for a second. For just a second, I thought it's somebody else that lost this game. Where's the paperback?
So yeah, he's got baby Haley here, right? And we talked about maybe force blast this out of the zone to score some points. I think that's probably why these models have been moved
Can
right
he
there.
even
behind
Yeah.
force
her,
blast
right.
a large base?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah, I've had a heavy jack knocked over my caster
Yeah.
from yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, table 5. This is the Thyra and Una 2 game.
Also, just real quick, any German people watching us, go vote. Today is voting day in Germany.
All right, so he just picked up a die that I thought was indicating he had 4 control points.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a control points on this. All right, so it's 4-3. So Bernard has managed to pick a point up. It was 4-2 last time we
Yep.
checked in. But if you look, I feel like this is Thyra's zone now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know
Feels like
that
it.
there's a whole lot Una can do about it. He's got more daughters jammed in here. I'm a little surprised that Pureblood's still alive
Yeah.
in that situation. But it's also possible those are the attacks he's rolling right
Yeah.
now. So we'll have to see if the Pureblood survives this set of rolls.
I'm also not sure if the jacks have activated already or not, but they don't seem to have any focus stacks, right? For them?
The Jacks, no.
No.
Yeah, so it is this set of attacks that this set of daughter cab that he's making attacks with at the moment.
Yeah.
Looks like probably not quite enough to kill the Pureblood, but we can see his card here that he's holding, and I'm sure that was the Pureblood's grid. It looks like the Pureblood has about five or six boxes remaining. So we'll see if Paul can finish him off. We do have, it just kind of appears the armies have done like a little bit of a dance, right? Like Thyra sweeping
Yeah.
down this way,
Yeah.
and then Una coming up this way,
Yep.
right? Because we do still have several lights here, like at least 2 Griffins, maybe a Gorax. I can't tell if this is a Gorax or if it's a Griffin. And then potentially even, that's a Griffin.
That's Una.
Una. This is Una here.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is Una. That's a Griffin up here.
Okay. So
And
3 or 4 Griffins left. 3 or 4 lights left, maybe in Una.
yeah, 1, 2, 3 at least.
All right, so Jack
And the
is
Gorks.
Jack has moved in. I think this is the swan song for the pure blood here.
Yeah.
And without the Pureblood, I think he's going to clear that center zone. It's hard to tell if this is maybe a Tharn over here or if it's a Menoth infantry model.
Yeah.
But if it's... This may also be contesting. These may be a couple like Blood Weavers or Blood Trackers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
But it looks pretty bad, I would say, for the Una player. I mean, he does have the lights left, but he's getting boxed out of the bottom half of the table quite soundly at this point.
It seemed that the Pureblood was pretty fresh, and it's like maybe half gone now.
Oh, so maybe I was looking at a different a grid for a different model than maybe who's making some attacks on. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, it must have been a light. He must have been attacking
There
a light.
it goes.
Yeah,
Pow.
there goes the Pureblood. So we'll have to see if he can completely clear the zone. If Paul can score 2, go to 6-3, and sort of demand a response from Una, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it looks pretty harsh for Una now, especially both on scenario and on attrition. So I think we have to call this a win for England as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
switching
Oh,
the
yeah,
votes.
now.
Now
Yes,
switching.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to agree right now. Just
It's nice to see Thyra get a win. Not a lot of Thyra played these days. So
I think Thyra has become pretty popular for being a decent Ghost Fleet drop
okay,
because she has the takedown spell, whatever it's
Yes,
called.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
Silence
are
of Death.
not
Yeah.
out of piece.
The center zone. Okay, so there's currently one circle. Okay, so this Griffin was contesting the zone, and this is a Blood Tracker contesting the zone. So Paul did not manage to score the central zone, but
still, it's
but,
he's
yeah.
blocking him out from the bottom half of the table.
yeah, once Paul starts just scoring on the bottom half of the table on the German player
Bernard.
on Bernard's turn,
Yeah.
that's
I-
that's the end of the match.
Can we go to another table because I don't want to watch this anymore. It just makes me sad.
Let's flip. Yeah, let's check this out. Let's see how this is going. So,
You're
No,
doing this
How about this
intentionally.
table, Frank?
note. We're
Doing
in
this
turn 5.
intentionally, aren't you? Just to
Sasha did manage to destroy the objective and picked up his 3rd points.
which is good.
It's
If he can drag this out to turn 7, it's his game.
But notice that this Storm Strider went into the objective down here and has cleared that
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
Which we can't see because he didn't put a die up there, but
We just saw what looked like a spray. So Arlen maybe? Arlen have a spray?
Yeah.
Trace?
Yeah,
I think it
Arlen
does.
does
He
have
used
a
to
I
use that
think
one.
Arlen,
does
I think
range 8 power
Yeah.
10.
I think Arlen literally just killed like 5 pirates
Yeah.
with a spray across this zone, which is not something you see every day. So I think if he can get this model out, he'll score that zone.
We just turned into
Okay.
turn 6. It's 3-2 for Sasha,
Yes.
and let's see what he does here.
So I think now we're at that sort of place where we're
Un-
looking at the flood the zones, clear the zones, flood the zones.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have a look at his clock because it's just out of frame, but I believe he's down to under 20 minutes.
We'll try and get that information for you, but I think at this point it's not really possible for Sasha to score any more points. I think 3 control
Seems
points
rough.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
his cap. So the question is, can he keep in the course of this turn and the next turn? Can he keep Matt from scoring 2 points? And I think that will also be quite difficult.
I would think so too.
And just as we're talking about it, our lovely assistant Bartek just pushed the clock into the frame, and we have roughly 10 minutes left for Sasha and 12.5 minutes left
Yeah.
for
Oh golly.
Matt.
So I don't think the clock's going to decide this game at this point.
No. Well, we'll see. I mean, if we don't know the state of the battle engines, how many damage they got. If he manages to remove maybe the one in the middle,
Yeah, I believe both battle engines are at full based on how he
Yeah.
was keeping track earlier.
yeah, that's true.
And also, we know the turn after the one battle engine healed up fully, or that turn it healed up fully, that Sasha probably put pretty much all of his effort into removing the Hurricane.
Yeah.
And then since then, he hasn't really had a lot to punch with.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go check in on table 3. This is the Witch Coven versus Resheth.
One of the Rage Turtles died.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
one of the turtles did die. We noticed the Coven player is up 4-3. The question is, what does the Coven player have left? So we have
The
three.
Wraith engine?
We have 3 Bane Cav down here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
The Wraith engine. That
And then
looks
the
like
Wraith engine.
Tartarus or something.
yeah, maybe Tartarus right
Or
there.
a Bane.
Yeah.
And the Coven up here.
Yep. And then the Coven are all hanging out up there. The question is,
be
is
Perfectly
like
honest.
is that a Bane warrior maybe?
To be perfectly honest, the judge is not near. Does this look like one or two of the witches are outside the kill box to you, as it does to me?
Well, they're within. They're definitely not to the kill box that way, or that.
No,
that's
no.
not even a thing anymore, right?
That's not
Yeah,
a thing
yeah,
anymore. But
yeah.
this one's at 21 inches, so yeah, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah,
They could be
probably.
towing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is WTC semifinals.
Right. It's unlikely, but everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
So if we look at the clock, we've got 13 minutes to
for-
Germany.
and roughly 9 minutes to England. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So about the same place as our striker game.
so these games will go down to the wire as well. And
The dice is hard to see what turn they're on. Can you make it out? 5 maybe.
yeah, it's probably a 5.
So I'm assuming that giant umbrella is Resheth. I didn't
Yeah,
comment on
yes,
that
it
earlier,
is.
but
Yes,
yeah,
it
Yeah.
is.
that's
Yes,
quite
it
lovely.
is.
I love the sun umbrella.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
So what does Resheth really have left? He's got obviously the turtle that's about
And
to go
then
in.
that's a shaman next to the turtle.
Yes.
There's another shaman down near the house. There's a few infantry, a few Zolos left.
It looks like the Animantrax is going into what we presume is Tartarus,
And the
but yeah, keeping reach for, and that was the Snake Eyes on the charge, I believe.
no
which is-
impact attack, I believe.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be boosted. It is
Yes.
cavalry,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
And judging by the
By the elation of the Norwegian team, I
yes,
think.
it looks like we'll get confirmation for you guys, but I believe that Norway Munin is on their way to the finals.
Yeah.
and
beating-
beat England Knights.
yes.
Okay, so let's look if the Rage Turtle can kill the Wraith engine, which
Yeah.
would be huge for Dominic.
Yeah, I think this is we may actually.
And
Yep,
there
and
she
there it
goes.
goes.
Pop.
And I think that's going to make it quite hard. Quite hard on Ryan to.
And it looks like he
To
just
be able to
cleared
hold
the
on.
center zone. So he's scoring
Yeah.
Yeah,
the center
with
zone, he's scoring the upper zone, goes up to 5.
centers battle engines can or cannot score the center
No,
zone.
not. But he has a
Does
unit
he have a
left.
unit back that
yeah.
he can score with?
At least,
Or are
I
they
believe
just
so. Or are
solos?
these...
So like
Crux
these look like these appear to be beast handlers.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's 4 beast handlers, so they
Oh.
can get in, assuming that they didn't activate on the beasts or whatever already. They can probably get in and score that zone this turn. That is Extoller Soul Ward that's moving. All right, so it sounds like Norbert lost on assassination to give the victory to the Norwegians.
Okay. So, yeah, it was great they got that far, but... Yeah.
Yeah. So we will see Norway Munin and the final round after this.
Okay, let's hope the Germans are the other team.
All right, so,
So
we passed.
can you give me some good news on the other tables, please?
This is good news for you right here. You're up
Yeah,
5
yeah,
to
okay.
4. Like we just passed the clock over.
Yeah.
Germany is up 5 to 4 on points, and without the Wraith engine,
Even if he wins, it still just makes it 1-1, and I'm just on the edge of my seat. So about the other matchups, as they are not looking too good.
All right, let's check in with
Robin?
the Slugfest table of table
Yeah,
4. That was the last.
Slugfest.
It's the longest.
Oh dear God. that Marauder down in the Burning
Yeah.
Ash still hasn't moved.
Yeah, so we can see. I think it's just stayed laid down.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think it cares to stand
No.
up. Yeah. So we can see kind of what we were talking about, like how Haley had a hard time for this zone because he's punching through with.
Yeah.
And he's marking more. No.
Yeah. So it looks
And-
like at least 2, maybe 3.
Okay, so we just turned over to turn 5,
Yes.
and he's leading 3-1.
It does look
Richard is leading 3-1.
3 to 1. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like
Oh
that.
dear Lord.
I think both objectives dead. Yes, both objectives are dead, so that won't be an opportunity for either player to pick up a Rogue One
I
quite
think I need-
easily.
I think I need to start my go Robin, go Robin dance.
So, I actually wonder if this Burning Ash is like really, I mentioned
Earth.
I didn't feel like, or Burning Earth, sorry, yeah, that I didn't feel like this. In other scenarios, I thought that this would favor the Steel Legion play, the Kadar player, the
Yeah.
cover player, and it. Okay, so we have 12 minutes left on the German clock, 7 minutes left on
The English clock.
the English clock, 3 to 1 English. All right, we're going to flip back to table 1 to see what's going on there. Okay. So this is the last turn, and Sasha has 2 victory point advantage. So we'll see what he can do. He actually did manage to score a additional point past 3. I don't
Yeah.
know how he did that.
Me neither.
Because he didn't remove either Storm Strider, and one of the
Yeah.
Storm Striders in both zones, and the other Storm Striders in the bottom zone.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
he'd already killed the objective.
Yeah, but maybe he scored the objective after we switched over to. The objective was gone, but the actual scoring, maybe he did.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
okay, yeah.
So perhaps.
Could be possible.
Yeah.
So afterwards, Matt is gonna have a final turn, and
So
right now he would have to score
All 3
more
zones.
points, and
Oh, yeah.
unless Sasha does something here,
he really only needs to score 2 points because the 2 Storm Striders in the zones will outweigh any random pirate that might be in the zones for
Yeah, okay.
tiebreaker.
well, first off, it's army points
it's
destroyed.
Points destroyed. You're
Points
right.
destroyed.
You're right.
so But
so maybe,
he's
but
still in
I
he's
think
still in
I
favor,
think
yeah.
it still favors him.
It still favors him, but
So Sasha's sole goal here is to make it impossible for him to score 2.
Yeah.
So he's going to position everything in a place where it's as hard as humanly possible for the striker to score 2.
Yeah.
And like we said, this was his way to win, given how late in the game it was.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
on an infinite timeline, striker wins this game.
Yeah.
But
and unless he has to score both zones. There's
well, he only needs to score 2 zones. If he scores 2 zones, I think he wins on army points destroyed. Although it looks like he's out of light jacks, maybe.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He just has the Storm Striders. He has Junior left. He has possibly Strangeways left. Striker, of course.
Maybe Jake somewhere.
Maybe Jake
Jake
somewhere,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you won't get any points for the Revenant crew. So the 3-men Revenant crews plus rifles. I'm not sure exactly how many points that works out to. I think it's
So
less
it
than 2
can,
Storm
it
Striders.
could
but
get really, really close, actually. Let's see how they are. The Revenant crews are, 9 points. It's 4 points for the Rifleman. It's 13 points for Small One. 3 by 13 is 39, and 2 Battle Engines is 36.
yes,
So plus the solos, it
Would-
will be close.
it'll be quite
really,
close
really
if it
close.
has to, if it comes to that. But the
Okay,
question is whether or
so
not this will be
I'm
very.
actually expecting Sasha to go. He's at 4 minutes 40 to
All right.
go down to the final few seconds before he turns over the clock to maximize whatever he can do.
Oh yeah, I
Because
100%
it's the final
agree.
turn.
This is quite interesting. He's brought the Egregore forward into the zone, and he's camping 3. It looks like
Yeah. It is possible that there's a blind Storm Strider somewhere.
that is also
Yeah.
possible. If that's
And
the case, I would
that's
have
the
to
turn
say.
for Sasha.
Let's turn.
Let's see
see.
what Matt's gonna do.
Yeah, so we're
in
gonna
his
see
final
if
turn.
Matt can figure out a way to score 2 points. I think 3 is asking quite a lot. But this has been an excellently played game on both sides, I think.
Yes.
Checking kill box there so we can see his one witch that's farthest back is just towed into the kill box.
Yeah.
So this is going down to the wire.
Yeah. How OP are the Stormstriders, Ricard?
I don't want to talk about them.
Well, I can talk about them if you want to.
Can he seal this victory to perfection with 2 of them?
I think it's amazing that Signa finally got, like, because they're really nice models, I think. So it's fun. It's fun for Signa that they have some good rules finally.
Yeah.
It's good to see them in
Well,
Yeah.
let me put it this way. One of the questions we asked our players in our player interviews, what do Stormlances need to be competitive again?
Is that a real question?
Yes. What do we need to do to make Stormlances competitive again?
I don't want to commentate anymore.
what does the Stormpod need to be able to do besides scoring and contesting zones?
Can we switch to a table where Germany is losing? instead?
Okay, but no, we really need to watch this. I don't believe he might be, since Striker's up there and the Junior's up there, he might be able to score the upper rectangular zone, but Sasha spaced the Pirates in the lower zone far enough apart so that he can't get at them with electroleaps.
Yeah.
So that will be quite hard to
All right, so
remove.
he's generated 2 power tokens. He's activating the bottom Stormstrider. We saw him playing a proxy base down. I think he was trying to figure out if he could get to a certain place.
And
I don't know where the attacks are going. So
Same as shooting little witches.
it looks like he's decided instead of trying to score 2 points, he wants to kill
Yeah.
the caster. And like I said, Egregore forward, 3 camp.
But
That's
he-
15 of damage ignored, potentially,
Yeah,
if he shoots
that's-
into the
Yeah.
Egregore.
Yeah.
But it looks like he just shot into the witches
yeah.
because they're not stealth. There's no. I'm surprised.
No.
He
Yep.
didn't put occultation. Well, it only goes on one of them.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't really help. So did he do 1 damage to one, 5 damage to one, and 4 damage to another? Is that what that is? That damage taken. So
Taken.
one witch is on 1 health, another witch is on 5 health, and the back witch is on 4 health. They have
Yeah.
8 boxes apiece.
Yeah.
But it also, and so he's debating spending to reduce some of
focus,
the
yeah.
damage. He hasn't. That's where they're at right now.
And it's on his clock. 4 minutes to figure this one.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't reduce it. At least the
At the
big-
very least, you reduce the one that's taking 7
Yeah.
damage, right? Although the question is, how much does it matter? Like, if you reduce 7 damage to 2, like, there's a reasonable chance that it's still, like, you can do
Yeah.
6 damage to her in a single shot, right?
Well, he
That's
has
why
3
I was-
focus.
I was surprised he only camped 3. I kind of wonder what spells he cast. I'm sure that they were necessary. I'm just curious what he cast in order to...
I would guess quick
Okay,
fishing.
so he spent 2 focus
And then...
and reduced 2 damage rolls.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
one which
one
is
which takes
fully
nothing.
healed,
Yep.
one which takes 2 boxes, one which takes 3 boxes, and now Matt's measuring if he can get the second Stormstrider there.
Yep. All right. So table 3 has come to a close. That's the Resheth versus Coven.
I'll say it's Domit that won.
We certainly think Dominic
Yeah.
won here in the commentary booth, but we're getting some confirmation on it.
Yeah. Seems like an assassination victory for
yes.
Dominic.
So
Yeah.
Dominic wins by assassination. Fantastic.
That
Now let's see Sasha survive this assassination attempt.
so I don't know if he just rolled leaps there. Yep, rolling damage. We'll see. Looks like bad damage on the back witch.
2 boxes there, 4 more boxes there.
All right. So
And-
he's only got 1 left. Oh, maybe not.
So
Maybe he
6
had 2 focus left.
No, he has 1 focus left, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay. All right. So the witches are on 2 points, 5 points, and 6 points.
Okay, so it's 1-1 between the teams.
Yes.
Now it's getting really, really close.
Generate power tokens. So I'm confused. Did he not just fire with that Storm Strider?
So now the second Storm Strider's going in.
Okay. So
And-
even though they were measuring this earlier, that was the end of this of
Yeah.
the first Storm Strider's activation, which makes more sense. I was like, yeah, that's not all it does.
So
All right. So now we're gonna fire at the witches.
Please don't hit, please don't hit, please don't hit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, viewers, that I'm a bit biased, but I need this to go Germany's way. Ah,
and
He
that's
came
game.
up short. Assassination failed, so Sasha. I mean, we'll double check to confirm, but it does absolutely look like missed with the second Storm Strider, and Sasha Maizo will live to fight another day.
Live to win on scenario.
Live to win on scenario at the end of 7 turns, 4-2. So, let's.
okay, so we're getting confirmation that Sasha won and Bernhard lost.
Okay, so apparently table 5 is over. Thyra beat Bernhard, so the deciding match is on table 4. Will this be a German victory, or will they cause England to Brexit early from the tournament?
They Theresa may just do that.
All right, so let's get a clock, a round, and a control point update on this match here. We are currently 2-2. We are also going to find out exactly how
What happened at table
how
5?
Thyra ended up winning, but we speculated it was probably coming close to the end just on a scenario basis.
And
Yeah.
there's the knee again. That's looking bad for Richard.
It was the serious
Really,
knee.
really bad.
Yeah. He definitely. It's hard to tell how thinned out the Kador infantry is, but he's got Jax jammed down Haley's throat here.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Ulans.
Yeah, and Ulan's, right. Large bases aplenty. This is, I think, all a strong core of Signar models here. But this is all Kador. He definitely has lost most of the pikemen, I think, if not all of them. See quite a few dead models here, quite a few dead models down here. It looks like Haley did manage to score a couple points beyond just the objective, which she did kill. Must have picked up one of the zones.
So Richard
Yeah.
is up, definitely
Oh,
up on
so-
CPs, and we are in round 6.
So that Marauder did get moved, probably, I suspect, by a chain blast eventually.
Yeah.
And bumped out. So all right, so Thyra did win on a scenario as we expected.
Table 4, 6th round.
All right, we are in the 6th round currently on this table.
England 4, Germany 2.
All right, England is up. Kador is up. 4 control points to 2. We'll
So-
see if we can check on the clocks at some point to
So,
see if that's a
what-
factor or not.
I didn't quite hear that. What happened to on table 5 with Thyra?
Thyra won on scenario. It was
Okay,
as
yeah.
we looked. It looked like she had completely boxed him out of the bottom zone. We can double check, but I assume that's what'll happen, or assume that's what happened. That she just once you start scoring points on your opponent's zone or turn, it becomes very hard to lose.
They're both at 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
All right, so both of them have 3 minutes 30 seconds. So the clock is a factor in this game
Oh
without
yes.
question.
So yes, this is gunning down. Jesus, yeah, I can't look. I can't look. I can't look.
Very tight, close play here.
Please,
Wonderful
Robin, pull
play
this out.
from both sides.
Yeah. And like if there's one guy you want to have like be the deciding player, it's Robin probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Team captain, German team captain.
and
Wonder
he's
Kid.
been here so many times.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
WTCs, but
Yeah.
big Masters finals where he had to pull this stuff out. It's ridiculous. Please do it.
Doesn't
Robin.
look like. I think he was maybe trying to take the Marauder out, but it doesn't look like it went the way he was hoping to. I saw him shaking his head on some of the die rolls. Did kill off the Ulan in that zone, so he'll be able to score that zone again this turn if he's got a jack in it. It looks like Thorn may be towed.
That's Soren down here.
Thorn
that's
maybe
the
towed,
Ironclad over here in the middle.
right.
And I think that's a Trenchbuster. The Charger is up here. No,
Right.
that's the Charger.
Right. I think Thorn here is towed into this zone, so I don't
Yeah.
think he needs to bring anything else down to score.
Well, he has Haley. Baby Haley is right next to Thorn.
right. That's true as well. All right, so looks like I don't know if those are storm. It looks like maybe some storm blades are moving into the Ulans up top. And yeah, we've killed one.
Okay, Robin definitely has above a minute left, but not much.
So not quite. He's on 2 boxes left. Second attack or second charge attack.
And
Removes
he's
that guy.
done.
Leaves him on one. Leaves that last Ulan on 1 box. It looks like based on the gestures from Richard.
Okay, so Robin scored the 3rd point.
Yes. So we are at 4-3. The question is this the top of 7th now, or is this the bottom of 6th?
I think it's the bottom of 6.
I think it. I believe it is bottom. Yes, we got confirmation it's bottom of 6 because we did see
So it's
on turn 1 Haley
Yes.
moved up
basically
very
one
Yeah,
more
very
round.
conservatively and
Yep.
clouded. Yes.
It's one more round, and Robin has a minute left, and Richard has 3 minutes left.
All right. So it's imperative for Richard to contest the bottom zone, and
I mean, it's not a done deal for either player.
yeah. So trample over to get back into the bottom zone. I think he's telling him he needs to take a slightly different line because he can't move over Thorn's base.
Yeah, and it's not a happy position to be in to discuss about trampling angles right now.
Right, and with 2 minutes and
No.
40 seconds left on your clock in the deciding game to get
Yeah.
to the finals. Yeah, this is not where you want to be.
So we switch to
Okay,
Rami
so
time, I
they're
think.
now getting a...
I think they just post the clock, right?
Yeah, they paused the clock.
Yeah.
To
To work this out so that it's not.
Oh, yeah, because I guess the edge is also like obscured by the actual
right,
fire.
right.
Yeah.
So just much better here to do something like pause the clock.
Yeah, and just
decide
get it cleanly.
You don't want somebody running out of time while you try to decide that you're playing a clean match
Yeah.
to be the determining factor in a game like this.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so they unpaused the clock.
They move the. So it looks like the decision is that he can't trample on a line a legal
brings
line that
him-
will bring him into the zone.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a pretty big deal. It means he's going to have to reevaluate his plan for contesting that zone, and he doesn't have a lot of time to do that.
It's more than 2 minutes.
Well, for some people, for some people it's the world, but for some people, it's not.
It's true. So we're making some
Okay,
attacks
so there's
here.
a trencher dying,
Oh.
and now he tramples.
So I'm curious, what was it that was him stopping the? Maybe it was the landing spot, as opposed to trample.
Maybe.
Trample line. I assumed it was can't trample over Thorn, but apparently killing that small base model
Trencher.
allowed for. So it must have been a argument about landing spot,
Yeah, something like that.
which is weird because that's not there's no way that's 7 inches of movement that he just went by there. So maybe we can get a clarification on what exactly the issue was. If we get the Germans on the stream, we can definitely ask Robin. At either rate, he is contested. He is in both zones. So looks like has he shipped the clock back? Yes.
Yeah, it's Robin's
Yeah.
So it's
turn.
Robin's turn 7. We are at a 4-3. So I think basically it was Richard's plan to just make sure he contested and didn't give up any points and ship the clock over and then
Yeah.
try to figure it out on turn 7
can't watch
how
this,
to
I can't
how to
watch
stay
this, I can't
ahead
watch
or get
this.
ahead.
So there was a force hammer here or something.
It's 30 seconds left.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see a force hammer.
Push.
Yep.
Go away, you.
Yep.
And like a disruption spear maybe from Thorn.
No, that wasn't a force hammer. That was a domination, probably.
Oh, okay.
Because
Oh,
otherwise, he doesn't get from there to there.
yep.
True.
Nope, I agree.
It's 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, and he's turning clock.
All right, so it's 4-4, I think.
Yeah.
So the question is, can
I think that's done. I'm
can
sorry.
Richard score a point?
He doesn't need to. Probably.
Well, he needs to score a point. Well, it depends on points killed.
Yeah.
So there's too much left on the table for me to make a good estimate.
There's still a good chance he can clock himself. Please do. I'll apologize to him later.
So I guess we have attacks going into Baby Haley.
No, but
Or one of the other echoes.
into Grandma Haley.
It's a Graham Haley, okay.
Yeah.
A Haley.
And if he
So
can
Koma
remove
just
her, he
trying to-
probably scores the point he needs.
Yeah, I'm
Please
not.
don't, please don't. Oh, fuck.
Ooh.
So he
Yeah,
she
looks
takes
like
damage.
Doesn't kill her.
Doesn't
so
kill
I
her.
don't think
and
he's
he
gonna be
doesn't
able
have
to
attacks
score.
left.
Yeah. That'll
thank God, thank God,
probably
thank God.
be. I think we're going to control or points killed.
Or
Oh,
time.
Well, so he needs to contest the bottom zone. Oh, so they're just
So
making
they're
sure
Yeah.
that
just
he's
now
got.
measuring, pausing the clock, measuring if he can get where he needs to.
So got to stay out of reach range, I guess. If he can get in the bottom, then I think we're going to control point or points killed.
Just so you can appreciate this, there's 6 seconds on the German clock. There's 14 seconds left on the English clock.
It looks
Okay,
like he
he
can't
can
do it without a
contest
free
the
strike.
zone.
So
Three strikes. Ooh.
So the free strike killed it,
5.
and he's gonna clock himself.
And
For
it looks like the
fuck's
Germans
sake,
win the
yes!
clock.
That was slightly intense.
Holy
That was quite
fucking
intense.
crap!
So I'm wondering.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, because I guess Robin goes to 5 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to contest the bottom zone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't draw and go to points killed.
Holy moly!
Not even close.
You know, I think that Signar still wins that. Just looking at the table, but he does have 2 heavies remaining. The Ulans, I don't know, because I don't really know the breakdown. So it'd be interesting to know who would have won on that point. But yeah,
Just as a suggestion, for the interview, we probably not want to have Robin because he's probably done for a while. We'll just take Dominic or somebody else.
yeah, that's fine. You can go over and ask who wants to come
Yeah.
talk about it.
Holy hell.
So yeah, quite an intense match. We're gonna go pull somebody from the team, and whether it be the captain or somebody else, you guys heard from Robin last round, so maybe we'll get a different member of the German team. But we will see you guys here
In a
again
few minutes.
in a few minutes with an interview. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.